Hey everyone, it's Michelle and Christy. Welcome back to the channel. I have my special guest here today. So Christy and I are former client advisors for Louis Vuitton. We thank you guys so much for joining. Again, we're having another candid conversation. It's so good to talk to someone who used to work for Vuitton because some of you guys don't believe what I'm saying sometimes. And I know you don't believe Christy either. Some of my closest friends don't even believe some of the things I tell them about handbags and Louis Vuitton. So we have a little girlfriend chat here.
Mhm.
First, I'm going to show off my outfit because Christy and I have very similar tastes. So I'm wearing everything BCBG. I squeezed into this. The buttons might pop off. I got to show off this cute BCBG dress with pockets and
I
pleats.
love it.
And
I had the shirt version of that. I told you I don't know what happened to it, but I remember buying it from BCBG when it came out. It was just the top. I also had a similar dress version that was just the black one that had the ruffles with the little belt that hooked, the
cute.
little ruffle bottom. I don't know what happened to it. I know I got it in 2010 at BCBG because that was the ish, but I have the top that
I
matches
love
that.
it. It's just a pain to iron and
Yeah.
it's so warm. Like, a day like this, look, my hair's frizzy because it's warm outside. It's a little
Yeah.
warm, but
Mine just
I'm
needs
like,
to be it's just so it's like whatever. I don't even know what brand this dress is. It's from Rent the Runway. Somewhere in Dallas had a pop-up shop in the last 4, 5 days. Everything was like 5 dresses for $75. This
ooh,
is some European brand. And I want to say I got 5. I got like Cynthia Raleigh, 2 Rachel Pally. Basically, I got like almost $2,000 worth of dresses for $75.
I
That's
know.
criminal. That's criminal.
I miss
And this
those
one has,
days
like
of sample sales because you don't really see it anymore.
right, this one has lace sleeves and it's asymmetrical and it's very comfy. It's just a one and done. Put us some sandals on. I mean,
Yes, I can see you like almost t-shirt like dresses, but a little fancier, like what we wore last time.
yes, I love BCBG. Like, I'm sad that she's gone. She gone.
So am I. So am I. I
Yeah.
interned for BCBG back in the day. That was very interesting. It was just like Devil Wears Prada.
Uh,
Yeah.
we love her. Love, love.
Okay, so today, guys, we are doing a client roast. Don't be offended. Decided that we could discuss the funny things that shoppers would come in and say or ask or assume.
Hmm.
And it was almost like because they were stepping into Vuitton, they were stepping into the magical world of Oz where all of their wishes come true and flowers would turn into chocolate.
Oof.
So we have heard the craziest things because we're like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah. I went to Oz because then I have some really cute shoes and I could just click them and do whatever the snake I wanted, but it wasn't.
Right? So if you've asked any of these things, like it's probably okay, but yeah, we're gonna make fun of the clients a little bit because I mean, you can't always be serious at work. We had to laugh about some things.
We did,
So
and I did a
yes,
lot more
actually,
than
I have a
I
lot
ever.
of stories. We could go on and on. So the first thing we want to address was that there's always this assumption of what was in the back. Can you just get one from the back? Do you
Mhm.
have more in the back? Honestly, the back, you see the back of my sofa here? From here to the wall, it's about 2.5 feet of space. That was the back of my store. Like you could fit
Now,
2 people butt to butt back there. So there
but
were
you
no
did work
bags.
in a shop and shop, right? You worked in
Yeah.
like that. So when I was at first, when I was, so I opened up a new store. So I started off at a Louis Vuitton inside of a Neiman Marcus. We shared a back room with the handbag department at Neiman Marcus. So
Pain.
what? Yeah, absolutely. So we didn't really have a back room. To put it frankly, there was like almost like a fence that divided both stock rooms, and we didn't have a stock room. The stock room was a manager's desk and like paid like people that like ordered stuff and it got shipped to the store. And that was it. And then there was like another little side area that we shared with the handbag department. Everything was kept in drawers. So there was not really a back room when I was at the Louis Vuitton at
Mhm.
Neiman Marcus. But when we went to our new store location that was like a full store, brick and mortar, The only thing we had in the back room were shoes, operations department, the place that we wrapped, a wrap desk, our employee like area that we ate, and then maybe some like luggage pieces. But that was it. There was not like some special back room with like handbags that like magically were waiting for people. Oh, and the new drops we couldn't put out yet. That was it.
And people would think there's a warehouse. Now, how it worked was that in the smaller shops, you literally had one bag at a time, except for things like the Neverfull, the Speedy, and maybe you had like 3 of the same SKU of wallets, but there was one bag at a time, maybe 2. Now, the point of it too is luxury is supposed to be exclusive. It's not Kohl's where there's like 5 shirts of the same size waiting for everyone to buy. So that was hard for people to understand and how it worked. Is like, let's say I sold the Neon Away with the pink lining, the one that we had of the day. Maybe there was 2. Then you put it through the register and then it would signal to send one more of those. So you literally have one bag at a time per day.
Mhm.
So, they're trying to maintain some type of exclusivity. Not everyone can have this.
Right. When I worked at Vuitton, the first holiday, and that was in 2021, there was like a stock shortage.
Oh, I
So,
remember that.
oh my gosh. So everybody wanted the canvas multi Pchette. So everyone wanted canvas, and that's fine. You do you. But everyone wanted the canvas multi Pchette, the Pchette Metis, the Neverfull, um, Speedy. Trying to think. Those
And
are the
probably the
bags that
Sarah and the Zippy.
the Felici, it was more like the bags that the people wanted. Our store like would get 1 or 2 of them and they were sold out by the end of the day.
Mhm. Yep,
So,
and that's how it is.
and we couldn't order them because it was just a stock shortage when I started. I don't even know how I made it happen. It was like it was tough for all. It was tough, but and mostly everyone wanted canvas. Like again, that's fine. You want what you want, but there was a stock shortage on the popular SKU items.
Yeah, which usually happens. And, it's kind of a funny dichotomy of what consumers expect because they expect it to be available when they want it,
Mhm.
but they also expect that because it's Vuitton, it must be handmade. Well, which one do you want? Where does it come from? If it's supposed to be exclusive, but then you want it on demand, because like I also remember customers saying, "I drove 3 hours to find this bag." I'm like, well,
Oh yeah,
could you
for
have called
sure.
the store to make sure? Because we didn't. There's this assumption that everything in the catalog and everything online is in the store, which is just not true.
It's also not true because another thing is this: say you do like a merch search online, which the if you go on LouisVuitton.com, you can look and see what stores in your area do carry it. But let's just say, for argument's sake, there's 2 because
Mhm.
a lot of times, unless
That
it's like a
makes it.
Neverfull, like Neverfulls, there are plenty of them out there because it is a top selling SKU and they just know they're going to sell a lot of them. There's a plethora of them. But let's just say it's like maybe a Diane, maybe an East West Matisse and a new color or a Mahina piece. Let's just say it's one of those or like a Cousin. Those pieces, a lot of times there's only like one, maybe on a good day 2. And you're looking or you even call client services. Well, if you call a store, you're getting client services. And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's 1 or 2." That means at that moment you call it 10 a.m. when the store opens and you're thinking, "Okay, some stores will do hold, some stores won't." It really depends. If you're driving 3, 4 hours, that doesn't mean by the time you left your house and went to the store that it hasn't sold.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yep. I mean, or
that's
even if you walk in, someone else might be ringing up that bag.
especially if it's a hot seller. Like the Diane, when I left, it was a top selling SKU. East West Matisse, top selling SKU. Loop, Malone, things like that. Like if there are 1 or 2 of those in certain like colors, they're gonna be gone.
So here's another reason that people would ask for a bag in the back. Say I'm your customer and I come in and I want to see that denim Speedy. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm gonna look at it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna look at it against my outfit a million times, gonna put her on. I'm gonna take all of my things and stuff her in here
I
and make
honestly think, Michelle,
sure.
you should wear that denim bag with that outfit. Maybe just go out tonight.
That's what he said last time, and I thought I was supposed to go out, and then I didn't. But here, I'm gonna be your customer. I'm gonna stuff all my things. Look at all my
Oh
things.
Lord.
Here, my Neverfull. I don't even know what's in here anymore. My Zyrtec. So this is literally what the customer does, and they're like,
They basically, for lack of better words,
and then they do
they're
this.
they're using the bag. Yeah, they're abusing it.
Okay, so I want one. I want a new one. And then you're like, well, that is a new one. Well,
First of all, I'd be like, girl, you're gonna have a denim bag in your hand. Do you know how rare those are? If she ain't coming back around,
or
second of
whatever
all,
bag it is, they would say, I
you
want
just
one that
smacked her
hasn't been
around.
touched after they've like molested the whole
After
bag,
you had an
and
affair
I
with
don't
that
want it.
bag, you don't want to take it home. You guys just consummated your love for one another. That's yours.
Right? They would literally molest the bag and everything and wine and dine the bag and then say, I want one that hasn't been touched.
I'm like, honey, do you want me to get some champagne and throw the back and you in the bag? Because that's basically you guys just had a whole on love affair. Yeah, people would do that. They would just like, and I'm like, well, that's the only one, and that's the one I don't want one anyone's ever touched. You know, someone had to touch it to make it, right?
And
Yeah,
and most of the time we put it out there in the morning, but it
exactly.
always got me that it was like literally you just molested the bag or the wallet or whatever it is, and now you're telling me you want someone else to have it after you've romanced the whole bag.
Well,
Like,
also respectfully, if you come to the store around like 11 or noon, we opened at 10, and
mhm.
there's not been that many people there. Chances are it was put on the shelf that day, and you're the only one who's touched it. And I'm sorry, I'm the kind of person, I have always loved luxury. And I've shopped in luxury before I worked in luxury, but I was never that person who was like, oh my God, I have to have a new one. I wasn't like I needed to be babied. I was like, if I like something, I'm taking her home. I don't care how many people have touched it. Like, I want it. But
So it's actually
so many
just
people
like
are
a
weird.
car on the floor because like, and okay, I've had this comment too. Oh, in Europe we don't do it that way. This is the US. If I see a Mercedes on the lot, I'm gonna drive it off. There's no like car in the back. Same with the bag. So people would say, oh, it's a floor model. There are no floor
That's
models.
not even a
Like
thing.
they can't
Zero,
even
not
afford
even
to
a
have floor models. US does not have floor models. I
or
know other countries
samples.
do, but
Has anyone asked you, like, when you tell them there's not a bag that you have, oh, but you have a sample of it? This isn't a fragrance.
mm-mm.
This isn't a beauty brand. It's a bag. No, if we don't have it, we don't have it. There's no such thing as a sample. Like, get out of here.
Whoa, I've never heard that. The sample of a bag?
I've heard it so much. It was like, I didn't even know where people got it from. I was like, are you kidding me? A sample of a bag? You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Or so
Like,
like maybe a paper version of it I can carry to see
I
if I
didn't
like it.
understand it. Like, I can't, I'm the kind of person, my emotions are on my face and I can't hide them. And I'm like, I
Same.
just can't. Like, my voice sometimes doesn't match my emotions. I'm like, really?
And this like I know people say you just work there. Why do you have to be so rude? Because this is our 90% of our day of like, what did you ask me for? You asked me for a magical unicorn?
Like, we're not even being rude. We're like humans. We are humans. Like, are you expecting me to be a robot? Like, I'm not AI. Like, I'm a person with feelings and emotions, and sometimes that's going to show. And what I thought was funny is that sometimes people would take to the internet, they would take to Google, and they would like sit behind their computers like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write a review. Well, honey, do you know that corporate does not care about the Google reviews? They do not. They're not
Mm-mm.
reading them. I'm reading them and I'm laughing because I know who wrote it because I remember the whole story behind it. But no, do you think that you can go behind your computer or write a Google review and that corporate is going to come for that salesperson, the client advisor that like you upset? No, they are not.
Yeah.
They don't read the Google reviews. They don't care.
And most of the time, 99% of the time, if a customer is rude to an associate, the manager will just say, okay, you need to leave. Blink,
That
blink. You know,
That
some
never
people are
happened
so
in my
entitled.
store, but I wanted it to sometimes. I would be like, I would sometimes dismiss myself and ask one of my managers, because I did have a couple managers who I really did like. Not everyone, but I did have a couple that I really liked. And I would be like, can you help me? Can you finish? Can you close this sale? I'm not vibing with this person. And they would, because you don't vibe with everyone, and that's okay. It's just hard because you at Louis Vuitton, they were high expectations when you worked there.
Yes, and it was very stressful.
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to say too, if you had regular customers, they understood the process. They were patient. I had customers, oh, how long do I have to wait? 45 minutes. Okay, I'll just get a copy. I'll come back. Love them. There are newbies who just think, I'm here and I'm going to spend $1,000 and I'm entitled to everything I want. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to talk to your manager. And the manager will just look at them like, okay, blink, blink. I think people have a certain attitude because, like, well, I'm not at Nordstrom, I'm at Vuitton.
Mhm.
But anyways, I digress. Let's get back to other things we have heard. So, what's in the back? Not much. Packaging. There's one box for each bag.
Mhm.
So we can't give you extra boxes. Some people
Rep
ask for
no.
that, extra boxes, or they buy their bag in Hawaii. They don't want to carry the box, so they come in and say, "I bought this bag in Hawaii. Can I have a box?" Since I was in a smaller boutique, sometimes, most of the time, we do not have an extra box.
And my store would do this. If they saw that you purchased something and it was on your purchase history on your profile, they would if they had extra. But honestly, it's very hard only because there are people out there who sell packaging
Selling.
from Poshmark. I think that they sell packaging on Poshmark. They sell the bags, they sell the boxes, all the accoutrement, the dust bags, because people who have sell fakes, they'll buy the real packaging and sell the fake under auspices that they're giving you the real thing. Like, there are people out there like that, or they would sell fragrance samples. So we would just have to be like, we'd have to like watch out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Every store is different, every manager is different. So just
Yes. Yes. Do not assume you can walk in and get a box. And I also have to mention in all my older videos, I always mention, oh yeah, the little man in the back who's sewing the bags. Let me just ask him if he can sew you one.
no,
Or
no. And there's not really bags in the back. I mean,
no.
I worked at my store some time. Like, there would be like, if there was like I said, the Neverfulls, the Keep Alls, and the shoes. That's and the new launches. That's what was in the back. There wasn't like a magical back room of like a bunch of stuff. And would you really want to buy something from a brand that's just oversaturated if you're spending that kind of money? It's kind of like
Yes, yes, they do. Well,
they do.
when people would ask, remember when the Pchette Metis, we had a waiting list of like 30 people for the Pchette Metis that you had to pay up front. I would always like say, okay, well, that bag is from 2014. Would you like to see a current one?
There was
No.
a wait list for the Pchette Metis.
Oh, it was huge. It was like 30 people. Yeah,
Really?
that was in 2017 at the height of the canvas Pchette Metis. They
Really?
would be filled like one at a time, maybe one every month until I think like 1 month they just, I don't know,
I
after they
don't
went
get the
overboard
hype
and
behind
like
that
produced
one.
them all.
I don't get the hype. It's not like I just don't like the way it looks. It looks like a briefcase. And the S-Lock does not hook correctly. I can't.
The S-Lock drives me crazy. But so with that bag, what happened was to get on the wait list, you had to put your full deposit at the time, 2830, I believe. No, not 2830, 2130, something like that.
When I left, that bag was 20 and the canvas was 2570.
Wow. Okay, wait. No, I'm wrong because the canvas was 1890 and the leather one was 23. So it went up a lot. But so they had to put down their 18 something for the canvas. And then they would say, well, it was always going in a circle because it's like, well, I want to see the bag. We don't have it. Okay,
Do
well,
you
I want to
like
buy
full
it. Okay.
contrast?
So to get the bag, you have to put a full 100% deposit. Well, why
Mhm.
should I put the money if I haven't seen the bag?
But
Well,
why do you want the
because you
bag if you haven't seen it yet?
just told me that you wanted it. So
That's what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
produce it out of thin air just for you to see it and then tell me, oh, I don't want to spend the money. Because we did have to be careful of that, of like not the pajama tees, but other things. I remember the Victorine wallet was, oh, can you call me when it comes in? Okay, I'll call you when it comes in. And it was like, oh, like, what do you mean? Just told me that you wanted it. So I can't produce it out of thin air just for you to see it and then tell me, oh, I don't want to spend the money. Because we did have to be careful of that, of like not the pajama tees, but other things. I remember the Victorine wallet was, oh, can you call me when it comes in? And it was like, oh, like okay, you don't have the money. Like, we don't want to mess with that just because you want to see,
Right.
just you want to looky. You can like go looky at it, like, I don't know, a consignment shop or something, but
Yeah, it
kind of had
was
to avoid that.
I just don't understand, like, what I that's why I said, why like, I don't know how you didn't get do you not have a sample? I got that a lot. Do you have a sample of it? Like, I didn't get it. I was like, I literally would be looking on the side thinking, "How do I kindly, without my snippiness, which I know is there, because I know my manager's like, God, Christy, please, please don't say something dumb." And I'm like, I'm trying not to say something dumb, but it's
That was
coming.
all of us, though. So we would joke, like, let me just go ask the magical unicorn in the back. I have to feed it, and then it will poop the Pchette Metis, or it will poop the Pchette accessoire, because I've told you 5 times that we don't have it. So I don't know where it's going to come from.
Oh, yeah. Are you gonna get it soon? Is it coming tomorrow? Do you know when the next time you're gonna get it is? I'm like, I don't know. I would tell people we will get a new shipment in every day. It's like Christmas. I'm opening the gifts, but I don't know what's underneath the tree. Santa Claus comes every day, but he doesn't tell us what we're gonna have. Usually it would, like, I did work in a district that we did have our warehouse was down the street, and like, so we were lucky because different regions would have like their corporate offices. My region, the corporate office was in the back door, literally. So, like, when we did sell something, to Michelle's point, like she said earlier, we'd get replenished like within the day or in the week. But we didn't know if it was going to come, depending on the time, depending on what it was, so many variables. We didn't know when it was going to come back.
Yep. Especially if they were hard to get.
Mm, yeah.
Let's see. Another thing I have on my list. This was funny. I don't like say they don't like the lining of a bag or a wallet. I
Yeah.
don't want it in pivot. I want it in black. Could you just order it for me in black?
But if it doesn't come that way, you can't do that.
But why can't you? Or like, could
It's
you
not,
just order
yeah.
this never full? Could you just order this for me with a zipper?
Yeah, that doesn't exist. Go to Go Yard. They do make one with a zipper. Louis Vuitton did. They made a men's version with a zipper when I left, but not a women's version.
I would get that. I remember also there was a customer who he said, "Well, you don't have the belt size." I looked for it and I said, "No, we don't have it." He goes, "But I called and you said you had it." I said, "Okay, well, when did you call?" 3 weeks ago. I'm like, "Oh, sir, our inventory turns over quicker than that." And then he says, "Well, for $500, you should customize me a belt."
Stop.
No, so I don't know where they get it, where like, can we just order it with a zipper? Can you just like, actually, no, it's Vuitton, it's retail with an expensive price tag, but this doesn't say custom atelier, customize your bags. Like, you can go to downtown LA, you can find cobblers to do that for you, but to go into the store and demand that was just like, did you just fall off the turnip truck?
That reminds me. When you worked for Vuitton, did you all do shoe repairs?
Ooh,
Because we didn't.
shoe repairs were very difficult because
There's not a warranty on the shoe. Well, there's not a warranty on anything.
no, I think that was probably by the time you worked there, they had stopped it because there would be abusers of like, look at my, what do you call those? The slides, the rubber slides?
Oh yeah,
Oh, really?
I can't think of the name of them, but I
You
know.
look like you wore it to death. And, or people would like complain, oh, I didn't like these, they creased. It's like, well, they're on your feet. So how do you repair a shoe?
Right. I don't know. We had a good place that we sent our clients to. And depending on your spend level, sometimes you would get lucky and the managers would comp it, but not all the time.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. Like,
And it always depends. Everything at Louis Vuitton, I hate to say this, it depends. It depends on this, that, and the third. It's dependable because
depends on the
I feel like,
manager, how
yeah,
what the mood they're in. In my opinion, shoes should be final sale.
I think so
Everything
too.
should be final sale. But the shoes,
But I feel like Louis Vuitton's one of those brands, like a lot of luxury brands, it's like they have like boundaries. Louis Vuitton doesn't. It's like that relationship where the person doesn't set boundaries. That's Louis Vuitton.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so another thing that people would ask us, which I think it's endearing and cute. You must love working here. I bet you have so many bags. I'd love to see your collection.
Yeah, I got that a lot. I've heard people say it a lot. Now, this is the thing. I did work with people who did live at home. And if they had no bills, great. They probably had a beautiful collection because every time VAP, which was when I left our employee website, VAP, anytime VAP opened and they had a drop, they would get something, one or two. There was a limit a year of how many things you could get on the employee website. Great. We had people who either had husbands that had good jobs or they were just, like I said, they lived at home and they
Mhm.
may not. They may have good collection. The normal person probably did not. That was
Mhm.
just like a farce. Or they thought that Louis Vuitton just gave us bags. Oh, you guys must just get an amazing discount. People must give you bags. What? No.
Another question, and I got this question recently when I told someone that I worked for Vuitton. She's like, "What was your discount?" I said 30%. She's like, "That's a lot." I'm like, "No, it's not when it's a $3,000 bag, and we did not make that much on one paycheck even."
Well, no. When I left, you could only buy one leather good a year.
Mhm.
That was
And the
like
limit, the 3,000 to 4,000?
3,000 one leather good a year. So like say you wanted to buy your dad a pocket organizer and the one you wanted to get him was like at the store and it wasn't on VAP, that would be it. That'd be the
Mhm.
one thing you could buy that year when I left because the rules were always changing. Always.
And then also, before you could buy it, there had to be 3 of the same SKU in the store. We could only buy from the main boutique. They did change it. Like, I could go buy it from Saks, but then they changed it. It has to be from the main boutique. They have to have at least 3 other SKUs for the other customers before you're authorized to buy it.
Really.
And then with that, with special drops for anyone who thinks employees buy them and resell,
Oh
for
God, no.
special drops like a Murakami, no chance. Like you have to wait at
6
least
months.
months.
Yeah.
And
6 months. Yeah.
I
And
think
that stuff
anyone
isn't gonna go on VAP.
and so she's talking about the employee site where we would get things at an extreme discount. When I worked there, it was 70 to 90%. I think from what you tell me, it was probably less than that. They
It
probably
could
raise
be,
the
but
prices a bit.
so
And it wasn't like extensive. There would not be very many bags because trust me, my friends would ask me for monogram bags. I'm like, no, they don't put monogram bags up there. They really didn't.
I worked there, there would be. Now, when I worked there, a bunch of the bags they had on the VAP website, they weren't discontinued. They were had a slight damage,
Hmm.
a slight alteration. Like, and you may notice it, you may not. Like, I have a bag called the Vavin. Do you remember the Vavin? Okay, the magnet on it, it doesn't magnetize that well.
Gotcha. It's
And
more
I
like a
love
little
the
defect.
Vavin. She just don't. And like when I try to shut it, it's like sometimes it'll just open up on its own, but I spent $600 on it, and I think at the time and I have the Dame bin version, maybe it was going close to 3, but $600 for a $3,000 bag, you gotta just weigh it out.
Right. And I just remember the selection of bags. Like they would have some of the older models, the vernis pieces, not the super popular ones, or they were bright pink or some kind of print. It's something that people didn't really want, but they would still be upwards of like 900, 1,200 and
Now,
up.
a bunch of the Kasama second drop, the Kasama from 2022, they went on VAP a lot because not many people liked it. Not new Kasama. They were like, eh. So
Yeah.
it just hung out there. Or there was a lot of sneakers on there.
Hmm.
Were on there a lot. Not as many bags.
I did get some good shoes.
I did too.
And, I got a couple of clothing pieces, but no bags. And quite honestly, after seeing all those monogram bags every single day, I have no desire for one.
It is what it is. I like OG Monogram, not new Monogram. I like Marc Jacobs era. Like, bring back Marc Jacobs. Like, let's just say that. Anything good that ever came from Louis Vuitton, even Nikolai Gaskier, he's like trying to like reinvent they're bringing back bags from yesteryear because Marc Jacobs literally is like, I feel like put Louis Vuitton on the map.
I think also like right now, everything Y2K is coming back, which that is the Marc Jacobs era.
I love it.
And honestly, if you look at fashion all across the board, nobody has any new ideas anymore.
They do.
And fashion cycles anyway, but
Mhm.
like now fashion cycles quicker than ever with fast fashion. There's no seasons anymore. There's literally just stuff churning out. You can find the same designs in Vuitton that you do in Zara. So it's really now very homogenous and I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm very happy Y2K is coming back because I get to
Me
dive
too.
into my closet and pull out all my old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's pull. Trying to bring back the polo dress. I'm trying to bring back all the Y2K fashion. Like,
It's
let's
coming
go.
back. I've got a Juicy Couture handbag that needs to come out. I'll just wear
I
it
have
to
a Juicy Couture makeup bag that I got, but I remember getting Juicy makeup bags back in the day. The terry cloth ones, the leather
Mhm.
ones, all of them.
I have a Juicy Couture seatbelt bag. It's gaudy. I love it.
I'm here for it. Bring it.
I'll bring it in the next show. What's a good question, Christy?
A lot of people think that if the bag is made in France, that it's better or it's different than the bags made in any other place. That's a big one.
Yes, that is one that's constantly being asked in almost every video. And it just, there's so much in my head about that because Vuitton has had factories in the US since I believe the 60s.
Yeah, they have.
And they wanted to put it close to LA because there used to be a huge fashion district in Hollywood in LA. So
Mhm.
to meet the demand, I mean, just think of it logistically. If there are bags coming from the US, let's say every single bag came from France, they would be even more expensive than they
And
already are.
more scarce.
And also, I think this is a whole different video, but Christy and I have visited the factory. There's one in Texas and there's one in Southern
Mhm.
California that every material is Vuitton. It's not outsourced just because it doesn't have a made in France stamp. And I think we said in the last video too, if you even compare two bags that are made in France, they're not going to be the same. It's kind of funny too that like, I'll just say for Americans, we romanticize anything from Europe and it's kind of funny. Why do we do that?
There is a whole thing where clients think that if their bag is made in France or Portugal or anything Europe, that it's better.
Mhm.
But are certain SKUs that are made in different factories. I will say all the artisans, none of them are they are trained in the Louis way. If they have prior experience sewing, they will
They
not have,
know
they have got to be like just brand new and
brand
trained.
new. Never
Like,
sewed before in your life. That's who is
mhm,
sewing your bags
yeah.
when they hire people into these factories. I think, the whole my theory when COVID happened, if they couldn't go to France, they
Mhm.
wanted to have a bag from France. And I think that fueled plus social media fueled a lot of that. Like my bag must be made in France. It must be worth more had it been made in France.
But honestly, they train their artisans. It doesn't matter where your bag is made. It's gonna be they're gonna have a standard for it. They're not gonna just be like, well, it's made here, it's made here. Clients have it in their head that sometimes they have to check, where's my bag made? Where's my bag made? And to me, it just never made sense because your bag is going to be of quality no matter where it is, hopefully. I will say some of the bags made in Texas, the Palm Springs Mini and the Neona White Canvas did have some of the issues we talked about that one time.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully they've fixed it, but that's my only conundrum.
And I've seen that happen and I believe it's because they rush production without
Hmm.
without seeing, okay, how's this bag going to behave
Hmm.
under normal wear and tear?
Right.
'Cause they just want your money.
But at the end of the day, it's about the brand making money
Mhm.
and they're wanting you to make money per se.
So last thing, did you ever run across a customer that had to look at every single bag or every single wallet
Oh
to see where it's
my,
made?
I had a client one time and I did not understand. And I liked her. Well, and she did not like it if her vachetta turned.
Mm,
If she saw a spot on her
then
vachetta.
it's not the bag for you if you don't like the
So I'd
vachetta.
be like, for first of all, maybe go to Makassar which is, the term for,
Yeah.
any monogram bag that has a black trim. Maybe get Magnusar, maybe not get monogram, maybe go
Damier
leather.
Ben.
There's when I left Louis, there was not a lot of Damier Ben pieces to be had. Like it was, I wouldn't say it's going out because that's the first print we ever made, but it was not as many as like a monogram piece. So this client was like, I love monogram, but I don't like it when it gets a spot or if it's dirty. And I was like, girl, and I was just honest. Maybe monogram isn't for you. Maybe, or I'm like, here's a Bologna that has a noir trim. I show her all the bags we have, or like reverse monogram. She didn't like reverse monogram. Everything I showed her, I got pushed back on. She literally looked at every bag like, I was like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's nothing's perfect, but literally she would be like, well, I'm going to wait till you get another shipment in or a new one in the morning because I don't like the ones you guys have today. I'm like, and she literally would sell her bags on Fashion File if they got a spot. And I'm like, then just don't get monogram. It's going to do that. I'm like, it'll be beautiful. Like it won't always have that little spot. It's going to, nope. She won't hear
That's too
it.
much stress in your life for a handbag.
That is so much. And I also thought she was just lonely, but I was like, no.
And that did exist of like people would inspect, inspect, inspect. It's like at that point, I don't even think you're going to buy the bag. I don't think you're going to be happy. Go to Coach, spend less money. You don't have to stress. You can't
Fashion File.
commit to such an expensive bag and then scrutinize it to death. Like imagine that person's spouse. Anyways,
But I will say, just go to Fashion File, get an OG Louis Vuitton bag that's already honeyed. And that way you're not having to see that little spot because it's going to be so dark and beautiful that you're not going to know. You're going to be, wow. And the bags were made better back in the day anyway.
and it's made for that. Like, you okay with it. I love the patina. It's supposed to look uneven.
It
So
is.
that's not your jive. But if you think about it, like any handbag you buy, you can't see it in my screen. Like I have that little pink handbag right there, just because it has a light colored handle. Just by the way I hold it, it is going to stain unevenly. It's just a fact
Mm-hmm.
of life. It's just a bag. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Which also you just like ping in my head some of the things people would say, like, I want the traditional print. I want the original print. And the original print is
Untraditional.
actually the damier checkerboard.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yes, it was the first print made." I'm like, Louis Vuitton himself, Louis Vuitton, Mr. Vuitton, never saw the monogram print
He
when he
was
was
dead.
alive.
It's not
He was
his.
gone. But that print, his son made it, and they're like, "What? Really? Yes,
I think
his
it's
son."
like the recognizable though. Like, oh, this is the
Those
print. So people
people.
know I spent money at Vuitton. And the funniest thing I ever heard someone call it, she's called it the mammogram.
I heard people call it the signature, and I'm like,
The
"Signatures,
signature, traditional.
classic."
There was a word that the Chinese would use to call it. They would call it flower print or something.
And that I've never heard before.
I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, it was not the original traditional. It was made by his son and it was created in what year was it created?
1898.
1898. That's right. And the damier ben was created in 1854. Something like that. Anyways, funny things that people say when they absolutely don't want the damier. I personally love the damier, and I was sitting outside with my bag, and I saw this lady sit across from me with her damier Ben Speedy, and I thought it looked so nice. I think I'm just like burnt out on monogram after
I
working there.
like them.
I'll
I
see
think
you no more.
it's cute. I like Damier. I mean, the monogram doesn't, but I don't have that many monogram pieces. I have my toiletry and my Kasama Speedy from 2012, but it has dots on it. So it's not like mainly monogram. I like things that are different. I don't want something like I like Vernis, which has monogram in it, but it's not like the brown monogram.
Mhm.
I want something different. I don't want if everyone has it, I don't want it. Like
Same.
when I come in and they used to be like, what's the most popular bag people are getting? I'm like, and why would you want that? Why do you want to be like everyone else? That's
And
crazy.
pick what is good for you, not what
Mhm.
is popular. Like,
Exactly.
okay, well, I can show you the popular thing, but is that the bag for you. And when I worked there, and I think it's still true, some people just don't want to think that way anymore. They want to be told what to buy. I remember a specific customer, she would buy the bag, bring it home and say, "Oh, I did my research on social media and people don't like this one," or "My sister doesn't like this one." And I'd just be like,
My
"Which one do
favorite,
you like? Which one do you
my
want?"
husband doesn't like it. Well, is your husband going to be carrying it? Because if he is, you might have bigger problems. Just saying.
Okay, we're at 47 minutes. We can go. We probably need a part two because when you say that, I'm like, do you remember last time I talked about how I saw customers fight in the men's wallet department because the wife and husband couldn't agree on which clutch or wallet the man would carry?
Wow.
Yes,
And
this happened. So
I think
funny.
we're getting a good point. We had a lot of laughs.
We sure do. Yes. Yeah. So do you have any last thoughts?
That's it. That's my last thought. We can do a part two.
We should do a part two. Okay, I'll hold it for a part two. I was going to bring up when I asked you to have people look through all the wallets to find one made in France.
It's more
I
back.
do, I do remember that happening in the store. I don't think it was my customer, but I remember in specific one family coming in. It was a lady pushing a stroller and her hubby and the baby, and she just wanted a little crossbody. I forget what the name of it was. It was one that had a wide webbing that was dual colored, and
Ooh,
she was like, "Cool, I want this." I think it's discontinued. I don't remember. I think it was discontinued a while ago. It was like a Pchette, but I think she was fine with it. She was like, "Okay, cool." And her husband was like, "Oh, don't you want a different color don't you want the pink instead of the whatever it was?" And she was like, "No." And then I told him it's just not available. I don't know when it's going to come back in. He had to go outside and call the 1-800 Vuitton and get the same answer I just gave him. And she was like, he once made the sales associate look through all the wallets to find one made in France. Then he comes back and tells me, "Oh, well, they said they're gonna make it, but they're not sure, so they'll take my name and then they'll tell me when they're gonna get it." I'm like, "Yeah, sir, that's what I just told you." And it was so exasperating. I was like, "Wow, you guys must be fun at parties." My inside voice said that, of course, because it was just like, those people who have to be right. And
mhm.
and the lady would have been fine with the bag that we had on hand, but he had to go through that whole song and dance. I don't know why.
People in the story.
Okay, so we are going to end right here, and I hope you enjoyed this little rant of ours of what to ask, what not to ask, or I hope you have some idea now of why you get the answers or don't get the answers. People just kind of ask a question expecting a certain answer, and we're just dispelled some myths about Vuitton and expectations. So thanks, Christy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know your questions and comments, and we will be back soon.
We will. Bye.
Bye.